My trepidation grew as I navigated the middle school hallways en route to the principal's office. When I arrived, the principal closed the door and said, "Sit down, young lady. Under normal circumstances, I'd expel a student for what you did yesterday. What I want to know is why did you poison and try to kill your algebra teacher yesterday?" My heart dropped. I was accustomed to being accused of being a goody two-shoes and a people pleaser, but certainly not an attempted murderer. So with all of the courage and conviction that an 8th grader could muster, I looked the principal in the eye and I said, "Sir, if I was intending to kill Mr. Fisher, I would have used something a lot stronger. Here's what really happened. 2 days ago, Mr. Fisher was regaling our algebra class with the story of the best prank he ever played. In college, he had a roommate who always walked around with a can of soda. One day, the roommate put the can down, left the room, and it gave Mr. Fisher just enough time to get some shampoo and squeeze it into that can of Coca-Cola. As to be expected, there was quite a reaction when the roommate took the next sip of the beverage. That day, I got home from school, I got off the bus, and I was thinking about this story, wondering why he told it to us. He also always walks around with a can of soda. I opened the mailbox, and lo and behold, there in the mail was a promotional sample of Pert Plus shampoo and conditioner. A light bulb went off in my head. The next day, I hustled down the hallway. I greeted Mr. Fisher as I went into the classroom, and while he stood in the hall greeting other students, I pulled out that sample, I took it back to his can of Fresca, squeezed it in, and then I waited. He came into the classroom, and almost all the students had seen me do this, and so they were in on the prank. The lesson began, and this annoying student on my left kept raising his arm and saying, Ooh, Mr. Fisher, are you sure you aren't thirsty? Do you need a drink?" Mr. Fisher assured us his hydration was spot on, and we got to the part of the lesson where he would post 5 problems on the chalkboard, and then he would go stand in the hall while we figured out the problems. The problems were posted. He went back to his desk, and we heard the sound of the soda being drug across the desk. And then we heard an almost empty can placed down, but there was no reaction. Instead, he went into the hallway. The customary 10 minutes passed, and at about 13 minutes, a different teacher came running into the class and said, "Mr. Fisher's in the nurse's office. He's violently ill. He's sure there's something in his beverage. Does anyone know what it is?" I squeaked, "Shampoo?" He said, "What kind of shampoo? Because when I say he's sick, I mean he's convulsing, his blood pressure's dropping, the ambulance has been called, and the nurse doesn't think he's gonna live." I stuttered, "Pert Plus 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner." And the English teacher ran out. Now, I sat there fighting off tears because Mr. Fisher was one of my favorite teachers, and here I thought he was in the process of dying because of me. And as I sat there trying to keep my calm, the door opened again, and in sauntered Mr. Fisher. He laughed and said, "I've been standing in the hallway. Kate, prank well played." And then he high-fived me. And that, sir, is what really happened. The principal stopped taking notes, and he said, "Your story checks out. You see, Mr. Fisher heard that you might be getting in trouble, and he already came down here, and he told me the same thing. He also said that you're a great kid. But a lot of other teachers have heard this story, And they want an example made out of you to assure that other students don't start spiking their beverages and somebody really does end up in the hospital. But it doesn't seem fair to expel you when you weren't even trying to do anything wrong. So I'm letting you off the hook, young lady, but you need to walk a straight and narrow line. I profusely thanked the principal. And later that day, when I got to algebra class, I thanked Mr. Fisher. Because if my prank had been lost in translation, that would have been the last algebra class I ever sat through in public school. Thank you.